Welcome to Sports Cards once again. If you follow a lot of sports cards investors and influencers in the hobby today, there is one idea that comes up quite often. Investing in young, unproven rookies is not a wise decision. And while I would not argue that point from an investment standpoint, there is more to rookie prospecting to consider than just investment. In many ways, over the past several years, sports card collecting has become much more of an old man's hobby, whereas it used to be much more young person oriented. Largely as a result of this, the financial aspect of the hobby has become much more central to things for many collectors. When someone has to pay hundreds of dollars or even more just for a small handful of cards, then he or she really needs it to bring back some dividends, or else it's just too expensive to stay in the hobby. This is how it is nowadays. Kids have, for the most part, been priced out of the hobby. But along with that, some of the other elements of fun that are part of the hobby have also been sidelined. But one place where this fun can still live is within the game of rookie prospecting. Now, if you're going into this game with money-only thinking, then really rookie prospecting is nothing more than gambling. And if the only goal is to win the gamble and strike it rich, then way more often than not, that's a losing bet. Young players are given such incredibly high and unrealistic expectations nowadays, and are expected to reach those expectations so immediately that the gamble of rookie prospecting becomes like lottery ticket odds. Very few will win that gamble. That being said, if you approach it with a different mindset, rookie prospecting is not gambling at all. If rookie prospecting is instead a way to analyze the potential of young players and to create a space for vibrant discussions on the sport, then rookie prospecting can become both a way to connect with some of the ongoing things happening in the sport and a catalyst for good quality community interaction. If this is what rookie prospecting is about, then it can become a core part of what makes the hobby vibrant and fun. I would suggest that rookie prospecting is essential to the vibrancy of the hobby, but that there is a balance that must be struck. If rookie prospecting is just seen as gambling, then most of us will lose. Just like if ripping wax is just gambling, most of us will lose. These both could be approached with a gambler's mentality, but when they are, the hobby risks getting sucked into the shallow void of materialism and materialism only. This is not something that can make the hobby last through the generations. It needs more than that. It needs vibrancy, it needs fun, and it needs community. Rookie prospecting has the potential to bring connections between the ongoing happenings of the sport and the act of collecting cards, which makes the hobby feel more alive. It opens up space for fans of the sport to discuss an interesting topic, which helps the hobby feel more like it's a catalyst for friendship and community building. These are the reasons I think rookie prospecting is so important to the hobby. It's essential for the hobby to have interesting points of discussion. Without these conversation points, then the hobby becomes a culture that is purely transactional in nature. If the entirety of the hobby is buying and selling, and nowadays with most of it being online, it doesn't even feel like human-to-human interaction, then this hobby is not going to be something that speaks deeply to people or helps them stay connected with it for a long term. And that long-term connection with the hobby is essential if it is to continue to thrive through the generations. And even for someone who is in the hobby for purely monetary motivations, the long-term value of cards is very dependent on the vitality and long-term strength of the community. Without that, even the value of the cards will be lost into the future. This is why I think that rookie prospecting isn't gambling, or at least it shouldn't be. It's all about the mindset. And I think it's essential that we approach the hobby with a mindset that helps it progress into the future in a healthy way. If we don't, once this generation of collectors passes on, what's to keep the hobby alive? If the hobby is only gambling, who's even going to be inspired to pass it on down to their kids, let alone an entirely new generation of collectors?